Life, he got, his eyesight wasn't that good, and he and I were sitting in his study one day just visiting, and we talked and talked and talked, and the sun went down and it got dark, and it didn't bother him, you know, and he and I were talking, and my grandma came into the room and said, "What are you guys doing here in the dark?" and turned on the light, and he said, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "Oh, just, you know, the old days," and because I asked him all the time about everything, and she said, "Do you know what President McKay said about him?" And I said, "No, what did he say?" And he said, if he had stayed in Canada, if he hadn't come down here, if he had stayed in Canada and not been a general authority, that he would have become Prime Minister of Canada. And my grandpa says, "Oh, Sarah, quit telling people that." And she says, "It's true, it's what he said." And he says, "But it sounds like bragging." He says, "You shouldn't, just don't tell anybody that kind of thing." And so they had this little banter back and forth, and then she left the room and, you know, flies in, flies out, and I said, "Is it true?" And he said, "Yeah, that's what he said."
Known as Mr. Integrity, Tanner ensured his love for the Lord and his family always came first.
This is by McGowan E. Hunt, PhD, who was one of the men that Daddy got to come to Alberta to help with the oil industry when they were developing it. He said, "My next information with respect to President Tanner occurred around 1959. I was interested in the legal concept of libel and had been referred to a book, then current, about a famous libel trial in New York. During the course of the trial, the question was posed as to the relative truthfulness of the average individual." You know, everybody tells lies is what the idea was. "It was asked if anyone could cite an individual of perfect probity. The name of Bishop Nathan E. Tanner of Western Canada was put forth on the court records as such an individual."